The movie opens on a remote, hilly road in China, where a woman is desperately trying to hitch a ride. Her car appears to have broken down. A truck driver stops to help, but the woman ignores him, assuming he's a creep. Moments later, a well-dressed man arrives in a car, and trusting his appearance, she gets in. Sadly, that decision proves fatal. Inside the car, she discovers a mutilated human hand near her seat, revealing that the seemingly harmless man is actually a serial killer. Within minutes, he pulls over, grabs a wrench, and brutally beats the woman to death. A few days later, a public bus carrying several passengers travels along the same road. The driver, Tony, chats with Wang, an insurance agent, casually mentioning the woman who recently went missing in this area. They enter a dark tunnel, one Tony claims he has never seen before, but continues driving anyway. Suddenly, a mysterious man appears in the middle of the tunnel, forcing the bus to stop. Panic spreads, but the man turns out to be another passenger, who quietly boards the bus. Lee, reading a newspaper, realizes the man is a wanted criminal. Without alerting anyone, he discreetly takes out a knife for protection. The bus passengers include Sarah, an aspiring model, Jing, a pregnant woman, and twin siblings, Park and Pham. Pham appears autistic, and his sister constantly watches over him. After 20 minutes, the bus is still inside the tunnel. Tony grows suspicious, knowing the longest tunnel in the country is only 11 kilometers and takes about 10 minutes to cross. Deciding something is wrong, the group turns the bus around. However, even after driving at full speed for 30 minutes, the tunnel entrance never appears. It becomes clear that this is no ordinary tunnel, just endless darkness with no signs of life. Terrified, Tony stops the bus, and everyone steps outside to investigate. That's when Jing finds her mobile phone lying on the ground, the same one she accidentally dropped near the tunnel entrance an hour earlier. This confirms the horrifying truth. They are trapped in a looping tunnel. As panic sets in, Lee takes control and tells everyone to remain calm. He decides to walk ahead on foot to search for help but insists on using a rope to avoid getting lost. He holds one end while Wang stays behind gripping the other. Jing conveniently has knitting wool, which they use as the rope. Before Lee leaves, the mysterious man volunteers to go with him. Though hesitant, Lee agrees. Along the way, the man introduces himself as Qian, but avoids discussing his past. Soon, thick fog fills the tunnel. Back at the bus, the remaining passengers see two figures approaching from the darkness. Preparing for the worst, they're stunned to realize it's Lee and Qian, somehow back at the starting point. Things grow even stranger when Wang, still holding the rope, feels a strong pull from the other end, even though Qian is standing right next to him. The tunnel is straight, yet it bends reality, sending people back to the same spot repeatedly, like an endless loop. Realizing they're trapped, Lee orders everyone to collect their food and ration it carefully. The four men head out to inspect the area, leaving the three women and Fong inside the bus. Just 30 minutes later, Jing wakes up to find the bus completely covered in dust, as if abandoned for years. Alarmed, she wakes everyone and rushes outside. At the same time, the men return to find the bus in a severely deteriorated state. Tony checks the food supply, only to discover that everything has rotted. This leads to a terrifying realization. Time moves differently here. 1 hour inside the tunnel equals nearly a week in the real world. When they return to the bus, they find a detailed map of the tunnel mysteriously placed inside. Lee concludes someone is watching and testing them. Accepting the challenge, he begins studying the map. Suddenly, the lights go out. When they turn back on, Lee is gone. In his place is a trail of blood leading away. The group cautiously follows it. With Lee abducted, or possibly dead, Jian steps up as the new leader. The blood trail leads to a hollow wall. Breaking it open, they discover a secret room filled with wanted posters, severed hands, and a detailed engineering blueprint. The diagram reveals 6 interconnected tunnels. Jian deduces that escaping requires passing through all 6. He also believes this hidden room contains an entrance to the second tunnel. As they search, they find a strange calendar where every date reads July 15th. Jian realizes it's a clue. When he tears it off the wall, a concealed wooden door appears. After the group leaves, a television inside the room suddenly turns on, showing a woman trapped in a small cave. The group enters the second tunnel, only to find their bus parked in the exact same position. At first, they think they've returned to the beginning, but quickly realize this tunnel exists in a different time zone. Inside the bus, now wrapped in barbed wire, they desperately search for food. They find a carton of instant noodles, but hunger has already begun to change them. Tony grows violent and greedy. He finds a gun hidden under a seat and threatens everyone to hand over the food. Fearful, they comply. As time accelerates, hunger consumes them all. Civilization starts to crumble. Unable to endure it any longer, Sarah offers Tony a deal, her body in exchange for a packet of noodles. Tony agrees, and while they're distracted, Wang sneaks in and steals food. Tony catches him and brutally beats him. Just as he's about to kill Wang, someone stabs Tony from behind. The group rushes in, shocked to see Tony dead. Wang shows no concern and searches for the food he dropped earlier. Crawling beneath the bus, he discovers a manhole. They push the bus aside and enter, reaching another hidden room filled with disturbing images and mutilated human remains. On the television, The woman from before is now being slowly drowned. Ignoring it, the group searches for an exit and once again finds the same calendar. Removing it reveals another secret passage. They pass through and reach the third tunnel, which is darker, wet, and infested with rats and snakes. The bus is there again. Desperate, Wang eats rotten noodles and immediately regrets it. Jing gives him a biscuit out of pity, but Wang grows aggressive and demands everything. When she refuses, he pulls out a gun and steals all the food. His cruelty escalates. Wang realizes that a secret path appears every time someone dies. Li vanished and they found the wall. Tony died and they found the manhole. Determined to escape, Wang threatens to kill another person. Qian tries to reason with him, but Wang forces Jing to shoot Qian in the shoulder. He then drags the twins away and beats them. When Fong tries to protect her brother, Wang shoots her repeatedly, killing her. Park can only cry as his sister dies in front of him. Wang next attacks Sarah, attempting to strangle her, until someone suddenly impales him from behind. With 2 more deaths, another secret passage appears, leading them into the 4th tunnel, a psychedelic nightmare. Jing goes into labor and rests with Park while the injured Qian and Sarah investigate the bus. The tunnel's effects cause Sarah to hallucinate. Terrified, she wanders off, finds a mirror among dead bodies, and is killed by someone approaching from behind. Qian returns to find Jing has given birth to a baby boy. The 3 remaining survivors move forward, only to discover the baby has died. As Qian urges Jing to keep going, she silently pulls out a knife and stabs him to death. Surprisingly, after some time, Qian wakes up inside a secret underground compound. It feels as if he has just emerged from a strange experiment. The scene then cuts to a top-secret military meeting where the truth behind everything finally begins to unfold. An army general reveals that the serial killer from the beginning of the movie, James, has been captured. However, he was found after a car accident in a completely vegetative state and has now fallen into a deep coma. James had abducted and murdered several women, but one victim, Sierra, is rumored to still be alive. The problem is that no one knows where she is being held except James himself. Since interrogating a man in a coma is impossible, the military partners with the country's top brain research institute. Their plan is to conduct a memory transfusion experiment to access James' subconscious and uncover Sierra's location. The breakthrough came the previous day, when a gifted psychotherapist successfully entered James' consciousness and discovered crucial clues. That psychotherapist is revealed to be Qian. One of the generals explains why Qian must continue the mission, because Sierra is actually his wife. This revelation makes everything that happened inside the tunnel finally make sense. All the horrifying events we witnessed earlier were taking place inside James' subconscious mind. However, the mission is far from over. During the first experiment, Qian noticed a recurring clue, a calendar, that suggested Sierra was being held near the Xiang River. The situation is urgent. Due to heavy rainfall, all caves near the riverbanks will be flooded within the next 36 hours, putting Sierra's life in immediate danger. Qian must enter James' consciousness one final time to find her exact location. That night, an army general checks on Qian's progress. Qian recalls that the date July 15, 1996 appeared repeatedly on calendars inside the tunnel. The general explains that this was the day James' parents died. On that tragic day, James' father discovered his wife's affair with the driver. A violent argument followed, ending with James' mother killing his father and then herself. Though shaken, Qian continues explaining his experience. Inside James' subconscious, he witnessed both his good and evil sides. Unfortunately, the good side eventually lost. James was once a tunnel engineer, and after falling into a coma, his fractured mind manifested itself as an endless tunnel, symbolizing his broken consciousness. Qian's original goal was to guide James out of this mental loop and awaken him. But instead, he encountered multiple split personalities. To locate his wife, Qian had to interact with all of them and identify the true criminal personality among them. The strongest and most balanced personality was Li, representing James' rational and moral side. There was hope that Li could overpower the others, but when he mysteriously vanished, everything collapsed into chaos. Tony, the violent bus driver, symbolized James' aggression. Wang and Sarah reflected his parents, his father, an insurance agent, and his mother, a model. Their dysfunctional relationship and neglect were mirrored in Sarah trading her body for food. Jing, the pregnant woman, represented James' ideal image of a caring mother. Despite being a positive personality, she failed to suppress his darkness and was eventually destroyed. The twins symbolized James' childhood, autistic, awkward, emotionally fragile, yet intellectually gifted. But one personality never boarded the bus. This was the most dangerous one, always hidden in the shadows. It was this personality that secretly murdered Li, Tony, and Wang. To uncover the truth, Qian prepares for the second phase of the experiment. The next day, Qian re-enters James' mind and confronts him directly, demanding his wife's location. But James resists, expressing his hatred toward his mother for killing his father. This resentment toward women explains why he kidnaps and murders them. James drags Qian through memories of his past, but Qian remains focused. He targets Park, the autistic child personality, believing him to be the weakest link. Qian tries manipulating Park into revealing the location, but Fong intervenes and stops him. Suddenly, Qian is transported into a cinema hall where the final truth is revealed. The real evil behind the tunnel murders is none other than Qian himself. James' subconscious is so corrupted that anyone who enters it begins thinking like a killer. The evil version of Qian admits he never wanted Sayara to be saved, which is why he murdered everyone inside the tunnel, including the newborn baby. Moments later, Park appears on stage, followed by Sayara. Park approaches her, intending to kill her, but hesitates at the last moment. Seizing this chance, the real Qian urges Park to wake up and reveal Sayara's location to the authorities. Surprisingly, Park agrees and disappears. The evil Qian then drags the real Qian into another realm for a final confrontation. They fight brutally, but just when Qian believes he has won, another evil clone appears, proving that this darkness cannot be destroyed so easily. Meanwhile, in the real world, the rain intensifies. Sayara is now nearly submerged. Time is running out. Back in the subconscious, Qian realizes the only way to defeat the evil is to destroy himself. If he dies here, the evil version will die too, and with it, all of James' darkness. Qian makes the ultimate sacrifice. The evil Qian fades away, and back in the hospital, James suddenly wakes from his coma. Now free from his twisted mind, he immediately tells the authorities where Sayara is being held. She is rescued just in time. However, Qian never wakes up. The movie ends with Qian wandering endlessly through the dark tunnel, suggesting that while he saved his wife, he himself is trapped forever, unable to return home. So that's it. I hope you enjoy this story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more video.